Today I'm going to show you guys how I made a box like this that can only be opened from the inside. So on the outside it just looks like a normal wooden box, but then it has no hinges and no way to open it from the outside. So for this project you can use any wood, whatever you want, how the size you want your box. I'm using these toy blocks. They're actually my siblings' jumbling tower, giant sized, so it's probably not going to be 68 inches tall anymore. But these are what I'm using, so you can use any wood. I'm just using these because they're already a manageable size. Alright, so the question is, how are we going to get this box to open without any hinges or anything or any doors on the outside? So my plan is to hollow this out basically, so that's where everything's going to be stored. And then I'm going to use one of these little battery packs as basically the key, or any battery I guess. And I have this, which is a 3D printed linear servo. So it's a motor which basically moves this out or in depending on, it just depends on which pole you attach which terminal. So this way pushes it out, and then obviously this way would pull it back in. Okay, so the idea is to make some kind of a box like this and then have this inside so that when activated it opens the little door where you store the valuables. But the tricky part is we don't want to have any kind of switch or buttons or anything on the outside that'll give it away. So my plan is to use this flexible metal corner tape, which is these two metal strips. So I'd wrap them around this just to look like decoration, kind of give it some character. But really what would be happening is I would have strips around it every inch maybe, and the strips would lead to these terminals. So they just look decorative, kind of like they're holding it together, but really when you attach a charge to it, it'll trigger this motor to open your door. So let's see how that works out. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've done a lot, and here is our wooden door. Okay, so this is the box. This tape is just holding it together. It's not, I'm still working on it. And then this is one side, right here. It's just 3 pieces wood glued together. And then this is going to be the other side. So this slides in here, like this. And then obviously it'll have a top. And this is the contractor, the metal tape I showed you earlier. It'll wrap around, so when it's coming down like this, it'll bend inside of here. So instead of just having the two sides come around and overlap on the outside, they'll both bend inside of here and be wrapped around the 2 wires leading to our motor. Okay, so when I turn it on, this is going to be in here, like this, and the roof is going to be on it, and the door is going to open up. So I'll show you when I flip this. And what this track is one of these drawer slides from Home Depot, and I just took off the top layer and cut the second layer in half, so it just moves like that. And I bent this up. You can see it's bent up so that I could attach this wood to it. Okay, so now I'm going to wood glue this box together and make sure the bands go inside of here, and make sure that this fits right and the door is able to open. And then I'm going to glue it all together and make some sort of box right here. Alright, so I got most of the sides done. I'm just waiting to put the top on. So I had to cut out part of this for my motor to fit, and some of this to just give the gear some space. Okay, so and it's hot glued in. You can see all this hot glue. So this is what it's gonna look like on the inside. This is going to come here, and the other one's gonna go here. And these 2 wires, one to here and say one to here, it doesn't matter, you pick. So I might have to use a razor to kind of make slots for them. And then I'll put this on and have these coming back around and inside. And you want to make these really tight, and then we can wood glue the top on. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Okay, here's the finished product. So all the bands wrapped around and go in here. I did end up using a razor and cutting little slots for them to fit better. And then I wood glued it all together. And these bands I put super glue under them every couple inches to keep them just tighter. So from the outside, the idea is it has no hinges, no buttons, no switches, no latches, nothing. So it looks unopenable almost. There's no apparent way to open it. This side's wood glued on, and this side is actually our door. Okay, so the way to open it, I chose these two. So there's two wires that were coming from our motor inside here, and I soldered those two wires to it and then put insulation on them to keep it permanent. So I'm gonna use this battery pack. It's got a couple AAAs. So when I touch the wires to the metal bands, our door opens. It activates the motor. Okay? So it looks just like a normal, just wooden, but it's actually really thin, and it's got our metal back here, and this is our slide. And then this is really the compartment where you can put things. So maybe I'll make a box here eventually, or you could just leave it like this depending on what you want to put in there. And then whichever way you have your charge oriented, if you just reverse it, then it closes back up. And because it's a gear motor, even if you knew this was the door, you can't really open it because that slide isn't going to move freely. It has a gear attached to it, so you can't really just pull. The gear's not going to move with it. No one's going to know that you have to hook a battery up to open it. So it can really only be opened from the inside. And the thing about this is it has no batteries in here. So you don't have to undo all the bands and take off all the pieces to change the batteries every now and then, because the charge is on the outside. And if you don't have one of these, you can just put a AA battery right here and then use a paperclip to connect the two terminals. It'll do the same thing. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you have any questions, I know this project was somewhat complicated, feel free to ask me. Okay? And I'll catch you next time. Thank you.